that these people were so religious, the only one that was really so religious, the only one that really applied the principles, the religious principles of Roman Catholicism was me. And I very soon discovered, actually I don't need all this. Because anything that I ever had and ever did, I did myself. Do it yourself. There's the principle of do, think and excel it all by yourself. Already came there. So, I finished there. My father was working in the center of South Africa. He was there at the little school as a teacher. So I went there. But I had to survive. We didn't have enough money. So I went to work on the Boer farms. I'm going through the whole structure, social structure of society. I was working at driving tractors, working on the farms, getting a little pittance. And this little pittance I used for a correspondence course to do the matriculation to enable me to go to university. Because of the apartheid system, there were no universities really, just one far away for blacks or for colors. They were all white universities. So I had to do it by correspondence. I passed my matriculation. I enrolled at a union college. That's where I did it. And later I enrolled at the University of South Africa, Pretoria, to do my Bachelor of Arts in Languages and Psychology. That was a time in the 1960s where on a world scale things were moving. Also in South Africa. But the apartheid system, the racist system, was in full force. Where I could live and see fascism, see a police state, that when I see one again, I'll know it, like I see it today. Under those conditions, and especially conditions where I was doubly in trouble, not only from the white government, the racist police state, but from my own blacks. I was not black enough, and for the other was not white enough. I always had trouble. Franz always is in trouble. And if anything goes wrong, Franz is the one. What you say so nicely in Spanish, el culpable, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Now, because I could not really earn enough on the farms, I went to the city, to Cape Town, to the beautiful city, and worked there as a secretary in some factory. Factory of Jews, Western Steel Company. Those Jews, they did not go to Israel, they are all over, rich Jews, some working there. One afternoon, I think it was March 21, 1960, I went out of my workplace, because in this place that I was working a lot of blacks, Africans. I saw a stream of marching people. Blacks, and all men, because they were there in a reservation camp for 9 months, they were working together. All men. Later, the figure was 60,000. I went there, started walking with them, because I knew their languages, Xhosa, Zulu, and Sotho, I was speaking to them. So he told me, when you already speak our language, accompany us. So we marched on the Legislative Assembly. We marched on the Parliament of Cape Town. We were supposed to speak to the minister because they were protesting against the miserable conditions that they had to carry a passport, a visa in their own country. When I arrived there, the minister didn't come. What came were helicopters and the police and the army shooting into the crowd. I just heard bullets whistling around my head, and I ran as I never ran in my life. When I came to my workplace the next day, I found a letter on my table. You are dismissed. You are a communist. And I had a labor certificate, and that's one you use when you want to go for a job. Stamped on it, communist. The result was that I couldn't find any job anywhere in 1961. Under this beautiful Table Mountain, there was a really delinquent area. It was called District 6. That's where I went. I was sleeping on the benches and living from stealing apples and things from the bazaars. And what my friends could give me. And we were playing under the lamps in the night. Dice, and I was an expert in this till today. And so I won money, gambling, to survive. But because winter came, and there's snow on Table Mountain, and sleeping like that on newspapers, I got sick. Which till today is affecting me, a cold and so forth. I got very sick, and didn't even know where to go. Then somebody told me, look, there's the house of a doctor. He also attends people, even if they don't have money. So I went there. What I did not know, that I was entering in the South African Revolution. Because in that house was Dr. Kenneth Abrams and his friend Dr. Neville Alexander, the founders of the Yu Chi Chan Club of South Africa. Yu Chi Chan in Chinese, is guerrilla warfare. The protest of what was happening in South Africa in the 60s. The people decided there's only one way to get rid of this. Go to guerrilla warfare. To try, through the class struggle, through violence, to get rid of fascism in South Africa. What did I do there after I got some medicine, got well? They said, look here, we are working. He has 2 children. Okay, you stay here. We'll pay you and pay you also for your studies. And you're going to look after our children. So I was babysitter. Look all the positions that I went through in this world. So Franz Lee, a babysitter. I found a lot of books there I was reading. For the first time, I could understand what was a communist or a stand for my thing. Because I found the books of Marx and Engels. Plekhanov, the role of individual in history. Che Guevara's guerrilla warfare. This is what I was studying there. I saw many strange people coming in and going out. And one day they said to me, look, I think you could interest yourself for what we are doing here. Give us a lecture on the French Revolution. That's what I'm going to talk to you about now. 1961, 62. You go and study, go and look for more information and give us a lecture on the French Revolution. If I think back, that must have been the worst lecture that I ever gave in my life, because I didn't understand what was happening in the French Revolution. In any case, they were fascinated. I entered this group, which changed its name to the National Liberation Front of South Africa. I was in the first corps of the guerrilla movement of South Africa. Look the road from tending cattle to this. There was no other, the African National Congress, all these Pan-Africanist Congress, they didn't even arrive there yet. Because of my good qualifications by correspondence in my matriculation, it was arranged that I got a scholarship from Germany. And how did I get a scholarship? Because of the revolutionary time in Germany. At the University of Tübingen was inscribed students, and they decided, each one, to give 1 mark by his inscription. And this should be used for scholarship for a non-European or a non-white student in South Africa. I got that scholarship. But in the meantime, in this organization, which was already multiplying itself in the style of Blanqui and Babeuf, like the organization of the 4 seasons, you have a week, so many days, and the head is one, and then you have the month and the year, and it was all structured, a movement. But the South African police, the Secret Service, BOSS it's called, of course infiltrated the organization. I was told, okay, you are going to study in Germany, but you're going to be, in some way, be our foreign officer. You're going to be our foreign minister. You're going to explain to the world what's happening here, take up contact internationally, help us getting funds, and so forth. Okay, off to Germany I was. To Tübingen, where I was studying, and later in Frankfurt. Studying at the same time, although I didn't even know German. I arrived in September 1962 in just New Afrikaans. I had to do exams to enter university in December. In 3 months I learned sufficient German to pass those exams, the only one for about 43 students, and entered, and then some other interesting thing happened. At that time arrived